round that final corner, he was ultimately able to sneak through into the final qualification spot. So from there on, afterwards, everybody will have to fight it out in the last chance qualification. So Stefano Gustavaye, Luigi Ferreira, Alexander Graf, Thomas Ferrando, Ricardo Alita, Philippe Beresville, Sven van Lara, Michael Lenertz, ahead of Ruben. Then the last of the cars, which I think was Nicola Baldan, who was caught up in that first corner incident. So on to heat number 2. So this is another same format as we've just seen. It's a 10-minute race, 20 drivers in this race. And again, it is just the top 10 that go through. Tasty looking heat, this one, Andre Weigold. Andre Castro, the American, sitting on pole position. Alan Day, who he beat to the win with a bump and run in the prologue race at Daytona, sitting alongside.
Yes, Mark, and I think we have another interview guest right now in our room, the race winner of heat number 1.
Yes, he's dropped in. Mikael Smidl, congratulations, your first race in the NASCAR Esports Series, but we thought you'd do well. As ever, you're winning races in e-racing. Well done.
Thank you very much, guys.
Just how was it out there? It looked as though you got the break early on, and Lasse Sorensen tried to stay with you, but couldn't quite make it.
Yeah, I mean, I was basically controlling the pace. There was no need to push, no need to hurry. And yeah, I tried to be consistent and it worked out, so it was good.
You're one of these very, very successful and sort of professional e-racers. You started back on PlayStation 1 a few years ago. How times have changed, both in terms of the way that we control the cars now and the graphics and everything that iRacing has available to us.
That's a good question. I would say quite a lot, because I started on the first Gran Turismo, so yeah, things that's changed.
And you're still loving it and enjoying it.
Yeah, 100%. I will try to continue until I'm 40.
Well, we're about to get this race underway. Hang around with us. We'll probably come back to you once we get the race underway. But that's Mikael Smidl for the moment, the winner of heat number 1. We'll go back to him and ask him another question or so once we've just got the first couple of corners out of the way. So Andre Castro and Alan Day sitting there on the front row of the grid. Jeffrey Ruffin and Ben Kriener on row number 2, and Bavo Fallon and Simon Pilat sitting there on row number 3. Let's see how this one works its way through. 10-minute race again, remember. The cars in neat order up towards the start-finish line. And it looks as though Jeffrey Ruffin got probably a very good run there on Alan Day. A little bit of contact between the pair of them. Alan Day is almost off the circuit, and he is off the circuit into the barriers at turn number 1. The Israeli, the double former NASCAR Pro Champion, has got work to do there. He wasn't the only car to have had problems, because I think Ika Lacuona also had an issue. I think we have lost the driver I was going to go back to now. Mikael Smidl has left us, unfortunately, but we'll get a chance to chat to him later on over the course of the evening. It is Jeffrey Ruffin that has taken up the lead of the race. Ben Kriener in second place. Andre Castro now down into third position. And poor old Alan Day, Andre Weigold, has got a huge amount of work to do now. He is right the way down towards the tail end of the field. He's going to have to pick his way through, isn't he?
Yes, right. But I think 10 minutes could be enough for a guy like Alan Day, who's incredibly fast, to go back into the top 10. And if he's not going to make this because of the damage of the car or something like this, I think the last chance qualifier is one of those heats Alan Day would totally dominate, because he's one of the fastest guys we have on the grid. So I think we will see him back in the main race, but he has to make a lot of ground today. This first lap incidents, they are crazy today.
Absolutely. Just another quick question for you, because you're obviously very familiar with iRacing and the way that the system works. Jeffrey Ruffin was, in my view, at least alongside, if not slightly in front of Alan Day when they got to the start-finish line. Is that something that the officials will look at? Is that something that iRacing tries to prevent?
Very good question. Normally, I always try to stay behind the first guy. I never overtook somebody, so I don't really know what happens, because I fear the black flag, to be honest.
Right. Well, we'll wait and see that. Thankfully, that's not for us to worry about. That's for the people that are in race control to worry about that. Jeffrey Ruffin, for the moment, still leads on the road. The young Scotsman, just 17 years of age, Ben Kriener, who raced in the EuroNASCAR 2 last year. He was only 16 years of age last year. He was the youngest driver we've ever had in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, but he's done loads of esports racing, Ben Kriener. He is sitting there in second position at the wheel of the number 33 Mishimoto Chevrolet at the moment. He's got another Chevy right behind him, which is Andre Castro. Bavo Fallon is just a little bit off that. And then Davide De Lara is going well as well. So car number 189, Davide De Lara, is running in 5th position. Who's on the bubble at the moment? It is number 142 that is just off the automatic qualification spots at the moment, which is Francesco Garisto, the 17-year-old Italian at the wheel of his 42 Racing Ford that is just out of the slots. Here is number 311, which is Bavo Fallon. Just to give you a rundown of the numbers, because they have changed for this week, the way that the numbering system works. So it is subtly different to what we've had in the past, and that is cars number 0 to 99 are for NASCAR Pro drivers. Cars 100 to 199 are for EuroNASCAR 2 drivers. Then we have car 200 to 299 is for Club Challenge drivers. That's the regularity test that was previously known as Elite Club. Members 300 to 399, and then if it's a 400 numbered car, those are the EuroNASCAR circuits, guests and members of the Team FJ All-Star drivers. So we will see a few of those throughout the entry list every single week that we'll be racing. Jeffrey Ruffin for the moment is just a second up the road from Ben Crean as we go on board with 4th place PK Car Sport Chevy in the hands of Bavo Fallon. Car number 311. He's one of the engineers for PK Car Sport, is Bavo, but is a driver who has been right at the sharp end of the EuroNASCAR Esports Series since we got the prologue event underway at Daytona a couple of weeks ago. Andre Castro starting to mount the pressure now, the American hounding Ben Crean for what is 2nd position. No way through for the 21-year-old American at this stage. He bounces over the curbs, but at the wheel of his DF1 Racing Chevy, he hasn't quite been able to unlock the door as yet. Remember, the one thing they won't want to do is take each other out at this stage, because they're both in the automatic qualification spots. And as for the progress of Alan Day, Andre Weigel, you said you thought he would make progress. He's still got time to make up if he wants to get right up onto terms with the next car, which is Francesco Garisto. But Alan Day is only 2 places now off automatic qualification. He's in 12th.
Yeah, I told you, he's very, very fast and very experienced, so he's one of the guys we have to take a look at. I think Garisto, Deodar, maybe Colavita, he could catch them. We have still about 5 minutes to go, so Alan Day is going to qualify for the main race by getting into the top 10. What a comeback after such a first lap incident. Hitting the barriers very light. I think the damage is okay, yeah. So he's fast, and no, we will see if he gets into top 10, but I think so.
I think he will, yeah, I think he will. He's slowly closing in. At the back of the pack at the moment is Max Palumbo, who is the PR guy for Solaris Motorsport. Ariano Casoli is ahead of him. And making his way up through the order now is Iker Lecuona, car number 727 as shown on your screen. That is the MotoGP factory driver for KTM. Side by side for 2nd and 3rd position. A little bit of contact between Andre Castro and Ben Crean. Ben Crean with a little bit of opposite lock to hang on to it. That's brought Bavo Fallon into the mix as well. And not that far away from them is the 5th place car of Davide Dallara. So we've now got cars queuing up behind Ben Crean, who has, with all of his efforts, been able to just about hang on to 2nd place still. Almost again a little bit of contact with the rear end of the Ben Creaner's Mitsubishi Motors Chevy and the front end of the DF1 Racing Chevy. Car number 122, the yellow and white car of Andre Castro, but Castro still sits there in 3rd. Bavo Fallon would like to get involved in this little squabble, but he's watching his mirrors now as well as the black and blue and orange car of Davide Dallara begins to close in. We've still got just about 4 minutes of this to go still, so there's still plenty of time for positions to change. And has Andre Castro got a run this time on Ben Crean, who seemed to be a little bit ragged through the S's on that occasion? Creaner's on the outside line in the braking area to the inner loop. Can he hang on to it? Yes, he can. He still hangs on to it. So it's still the Scotsman ahead of the American as we go on board with Andre Castro. There's contact between the pair of them. Does Ben Crean get turned around? Well, he almost did, but he managed to save it. He got sideways. Castro's still there in 3rd position. Bavo Fallon still in 4th place, and Davide Dallara with the best seat in the house, watching all of this unfold ahead of him, but getting caught also now from the cars behind us again, because Simon Palat is starting to close in, and the black car with the Dutch flag right the way down the centre of it is Tobias Dauenhauer, who is also starting to close in. So great fights going on. 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th all together as we ride on board with the 5th place car, Davide Dallara, the Not Only Motorsport car, running in 5th position at the moment. squeezes the throttle, accelerates his way up towards turn number 3 and 4. All of the cars that they're using in iRacing are the US NASCAR Cup Series cars. They were selected because they were the most powerful and most challenging to drive. And at the moment, they have provided, both at the prologue event at Daytona and at Brands Hatch last week, and so far at Watkins Glen, some very, very good racing. Ben Kriener, such has been the effort he's having to put in to keep everybody behind. Jeffrey Ruffin has now just disappeared up the road. He's nearly 6 seconds up the road from this, 4-car fight still for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th position. In 6th place, Simon Palat hasn't quite managed to catch the train as yet ahead of him. And time is running out, I'm afraid, because there's only 1 minute and 45 seconds of the 10 minutes to go. Bravo Fallon, 4th place, looking back at Davide Dallara at the wheel of his not only motorsport Chevy, but at the moment it's Chevys that are leading the way in this one. Just looking through to where the first Ford would be in the order, and I think it potentially is going to be down in 7th position, the first Ford that we've got in the race. Let's have a quick look. Yes, it will be. It'll be Tobias Dauenhauer will be the first of the Fords in the order, and the first of the Toyotas would be even further down by the look of things. Leonardo Colavita is running there in 9th position currently. Former kart racer, Italian born, but has lived in the United States for a very good number of years. Family are big olive oil distributors, and he is going to join the Club Challenge for 2020, and he's just going to pick up a place here as well, I would have thought. That is going to be position gains there. And that is Brent Moffitt, I think, that he's just squeezed his way through. Back to Kriener, who's running in 2nd place. 30 seconds to go, so he'll be heading on to his final lap this time through. Still under pressure from Andre Castro. A quartet of Chevys, all absolutely bumper to bumper as they work their way over the start-finish line. Jeffrey Ruffin out front at the wheel of his, well, it's actually, sorry, a Hendricks Ford, isn't it? So it is a Ford that leads. It's Chevys that are 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. Another Ford that's there in 7th. At the moment, Jeffrey Ruffin can just control all of the pace from the front and is looking as though he has been totally in control. Crew chief for the number 7 Hendricks Motorsport. Ford usually also races late models, former kart racer, and a driver who has done a fair chunk of e-racing as well. Leads the way by 7 seconds from this pack of cars, all 4 of them still fighting away for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th position. But I don't think there's any doubt about who is going to win the heat here. Jeffrey Ruffin is going to do it again by the look of things. He had a heat win in the prologue event at Daytona. He took a heat win in Heat 3 that he'd qualified for last week at Brands. And it looks as though it's going to be another heat win here for him. He is up the road and already about to head over the start-finish line. It is, by the look of things, going to be a hard-fought 2nd place, but Ben Kriener, I think, is just about going to hang on to it. There goes Jeffrey Ruffin. He claims heat number 2. 2nd position is just going to be Ben Kriener, almost bump drafted to the line by Andre Castro, who finished in 3rd position in the end at the wheel of the DF1 Racing Chevy. Great race from those two. Bavo Fallon has to settle for 4th place in the end. Davide Dallara in 5th place. And Simon Palat moves up into 6th place with Tobias Dauenhauer in 7th position. Who just misses out? Alan Day just misses out on automatic qualification. We thought that he would do it, but that contact at the very beginning, at the very first corner that puts the Monster Energy Chevy into the barriers, despite all of the hard charge back through the order, it does see Alan Day finish 11th on the road at the moment. So he will have to do it all again in the last chance qualification race later on. Hendricks Motorsport Ford wins in heat number 2. And, well, we will get to hear, I'm sure, from Jeffrey Ruffin before too much longer. And what was a great, great race. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Last of the cars just trickling over the line now is Ariana Casoli, a double champion in the Ladies' Trophy over the course of the last few years. But she will be the last of the classified finishers. Should just be able to hopefully give you a result for heat number 2. That's heat number 1. We'll switch to the results for heat number 2. Jeffrey Ruffin wins by 7.5 seconds in the end from Ben Kriener in 2nd place and Andre Castro in 3rd. Bavo Fallon, Davide Dallara and Simon Palat complete the top 6. Tobias Dauenhauer, Leonardo Colavita, Brent Moffitt racing for the All-Star team the former NASCAR pickup truck champion, finished in 9th place, so automatically qualifies for the main event. As does Advait Dioda, who came home in 10th position. Just missing out, though, in 11th place, Alan Day from Francesco Garisto, Scott Jeffs, Luca Caniore, Gasper Dovanovsky, Ike Laquona, Roy Hendricks, and Ariana Casserly. Joining us in live comment